Hujambo mpenzi mtazamaji, asante sana kujumuika nasi kwenye awamu ya bunge la wenyeji tarehe 7 ambapo tunaangazia masuala ambayo yamekuwa yakichipuka kwenye ulingo wa siasa na kote nchini. Na masuala kama haya yanapendelea kuchipuka na ibua hisia mbalimbali kutoka kwa Wakenya na pia viongozi mbalimbali. Vile vile pia tutakuwa tunagandia swala la uchaguzi wa mwaka 2027 ambao kila mmoja ameutarajia sana. Vile vile pia kumekuwa na mchakato wa kuweza kulainisha anga za jinsi mambo yanavyoendeshwa hapa nchini Kenya na kuweza kupata angalau semi za Wakenya kuhusiana na mustakabali wa taifa. Vile vile hivi majuzi tumekuwa tukishuhudia swala ambalo Rais William Ruto aliweza kutupiwa kiatu ambacho kilimlenga karibu kimlenge usoni, lakini mapenzi ya Mungu ni makuu. Vile vile pia tutakuwa tunaangazia swala ambalo wa baadhi ya viongozi ambao ni pia ni member of parliament wanasema kwamba usalama wao haupo sawa. Hii ni baada tu ya kuweza kupigwa risasi kwa kasi pule MP Were ambayo pia imeweza kuibua hisia tata hapa nchini Kenya. Lakini tukifanya utangulizi ni kwamba baadhi ya wengi ambao walishuhudia kifo hiki wameanza kusherekea, na baadhi wengine wanasema kwamba Mungu ailaze roho yake mahali pema. Vile vile pia tukiangazia masuala kama haya, bado sauti ya mwenyeji ina nguvu zaidi na uzito hapa nchini Kenya. Hivi ndivyo tumeanza bunge la wenyeji. Jina langu ni Moses Okech. Natumai tutaweza kushirikiana moja kwa moja hadi tamati wa kipindi ya siku ya leo. Unatazama runinga ya Look Up. Kabla hatujaanza, wacha tumkaribishe mgeni wetu ambaye mmekuwa mkimuona kwa sasa. Ni vile tu mambo yamebadilika kidogo, lakini tafadhali jitambulishe.
Yeah, good morning Kenyans. My name still remains to be Veran Festus. I have been here before. Thank you so much, Moses, for this continuous invite.
Indeed.
And today we are just here to talk about the current affairs, what is happening, what is trending in the country, and what Kenyans really need to know that is being hidden under the carpet.
Indeed.
So personally, my profile still remains. I'm the King V Collection CEO, a fashionista and a designer. I'm also a debater of the current affairs, both socio-economic and political affairs. I'm also an activist in terms of reforms, governance, and social justice within the country. And I'm also a youth champion for better leadership and everything, yeah.
So many titles. And of course, mpenzi mtazamaji, utaturuhusu kwamba tutachanganya ndimi kidogo kwa sababu Veran is coming from the other side. And today you're doing the 4 eyes. It means some intense words are going to come out.
Yeah, actually today is just a cool conversation and we just need to understand what is really happening.
Indeed.
Hatutaki kukua on sides. We just need to be neutral and just really need to discuss demystify matters happening and just make youth fraternity and the whole Kenyans at large to understand what's happening.
Thank you for making time for us this evening, of course, to understand the depths of a political crisis right in the Republic. First things first, what will be your say on the political state even as you speak right now?
The political state is, I cannot say it's something exemptional. What's happening right now is not exemptional because Kenya is defined by politics. Mostly the 90% of Kenya's definition by its name and status is politics.
Indeed.
And currently it's all about alignments, realignments, plans, you know, of what's going to happen in coming 2027.
Kabisa.
Yeah, and mostly what we are seeing is just attention diversion.
Indeed.
And leveraging on the opportunities on both divides. We have the opposition and then the government.
Indeed.
So the opposition is leveraging on the opportunities of the current affairs, especially on the youth fraternity. We recently saw the release of the Blood Parliament. And when it came out, it's just a reflection of what really happened, the authenticity of what happened in June 2024. And then now you find that this is a place where the opposition really needs to leverage on because it's an opportunity, you know, to capture the youth's attention and also just to be seen siding with the common man. And then on the side of the government, Moses, I think the government is really pressed and it's also confused at the same time because you can't see the opposition, the former opposition, a solidified former opposition led by His Excellency Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. We are now seeing the MPs who are the firebrands who used to really to support Raila every word, every step, every stride. They are now extracting themselves from, you know, the trail. You've seen the recent remarks from Honorable Nyang' Nyong'o, the Kisumu governor. You have seen recent remarks from the Siaya governor, Orengo. You have also seen the remarks from the Vihiga, one of the Vihiga MP, vibrant MP. So most of these things are going to happen.
Kabisa.
And I think some of the ODM MPs follows Raila just because of the title, but deep down their hearts, they really for the Kenyans. Yeah.
Veron, you spoke about alignment in the country, and both politically and of course understanding the depth of the situation right in the country. How best can we align things to make sure that everyone is in the best control?
Actually, this one, you know, as so long as the constitution is in place, and we really know that Kenyans politician really violates constitution both during the night and during the day. So the best way to align these leaders, you know, to lead the shows in alignment with the constitution is we Kenyans of goodwill who really want to get this country from you know, being put into trash. We really need to come together and just you know, come up with a civilization platforms across all the divides. The youth needs to speak out. You know, the entire citizen need to speak out. We need to be sober. We need to really understand you know, what the constitution is telling us, what are the rights.
But if you speak, you get abducted.
Sorry?
If you speak, of course, you get abducted, and so much insecurity is coming along.
Yeah, currently there is so much insecurities. And right now I'm very happy, Moses, because the insecurity is no longer only on citizens, as it used to be. Historically, it has been always on our citizens, on the common wananchi. But right now the insecurity has escalated up to even the government. The government is threatened, because, you know, this one is propounded by the recent killing of the Kasipul MP, that is Honorable, the late the late Honorable Were. So it means that the insecurity is no longer now on common mananchi only. It has really gone deep and far wide to even attack the politicians who are on the seat.
On that particular picture, how does this sound to the common mananchi, and as a country, how does that insecurity perhaps? You remember when we started the conversation, of course, there was that particular hit to President William Ruto, which of course is insecure. Now, turning the shoes and the heights towards this particular environment, how does that sound to the country?
Actually, first I'll start by, as a sober Kenyan citizen who's a patriot of this country, to condemn that act that the president on its stature can be thrown a shoe at. So that one was basically out of order, and we could have done better than that. But deep down again...
better, you mean?
Well, I mean, we could have done better. I mean, the approach that that Wananchi could have taken probably maybe in terms of antagonizing the president's speech, you know, contradicting what he was saying. I think the heckles, you know, the heckles and even walking out of the stadia or walking out of that space, the place could have even ashamed him more better. Rather than, you know, throwing a shoe to president. Yeah. So, but again, Moses, when you speak about the same thing, remember right now the Kenyans have nothing to lose, because they have realized that if even an MP can be gunned down because of his, you know, the life profile, because most of the people are saying Were lived by sword, and hence he deserved to also die by the sword. And then it was a test. The Kenyans are really trying to see if they also bring down the leaders who are very ruthless, archaic and retrogressive. They want to see what action the government can take. And I can tell you this, if the government cannot take a quick action just to condemn that act, then it means these murderers to politicians will really escalate to go far and beyond the expectation. 3
suspects were arrested in regards to the same, and najua sahi wanaendelea kufinywa and then they'll produce, of course, the real person that threw that particular shoe. But in the same sense, I asked that question to the same weight, of course, to others that will have maybe tried as much as possible to do that as well. Maybe they had the idea, they had the mind, but now to visualize it was the main problem. Even as we speak, yes, the president was insecure on Sunday. Do you think in the near future, if these things escalate, it will now attack the parliament as well? We spoke earlier on about MP Were, and so much uproar was in the parliament building as far as members of parliament felt so much insecure. They felt so much, they had fear, of course, not even going home, because Were was followed. Hapo malilikuwa kwa jam, vitu zika happen.
Yeah,
I wouldn't understand the real state of insecurity.
It was Moses, this was a choreographed thing, because, you know, the history, the Kenyans never forget about the history.
Indeed.
And then let me just boil it down to what you asked about, how far this thing is likely to get. Remember right now, I told you Kenyans right now have nothing to lose. One of the reasons why most of the youth have nothing to lose is because no, they trusted this government with power. They really believe that this government is going to salvage them from the rampant situations in terms of the economic toughness, in terms of unemployment, in terms of the job opportunities, in terms of the resource utilization. But it came at that time, that is now last year towards June, when Kenyans speak out loudly and extracted their honest and trust from the government. So what is going to be created is the political class versus now the common mwananchi class. And that one is likely to bring an anarchy. Because, we are now going to have the people of voice and the voiceless squad. We are going to have people in power and the powerless squad. And, that thing is not going to have a great restriction, because now the Kenyans and the citizens will be able to cross the boundaries and then say, what? If even we're going to be killed, let us be killed. But we have to, other generation will remain to take us over. Because the government's trust to Kenyans, it has been extracted. Yeah, and then now talking about the insecurity again, just to mention.
MP.
Yeah, MPs, you know what, this is just a revenge. I think it's a silent revenge that is coming out loudly. Remember when the finance bill came into play, most of these people who passed it were MPs. And then a lot of statements came from different dimensions. And then the citizen was saying, mufanya tu hivi sasa, lakini ikifika 2027, we are going to discipline you on the ballot. But now, right now, they are not waiting to discipline these MPs at the ballot. They are disciplining them by bullets. So it's likely now, they're likely to face a double tragedy, whereby if this continues up to 2027, the MPs are going to be punished in two ways, through the bullet and through the ballot. If you will have survived to get to the bullet, to the ballot, you will be punished on ballot. But if you will not survive to get to the ballot, you will have been punished by the bullet.
All right. Yeah. So it's also bringing us a sense of the members of parliament, right, in the parliament will not be keeping quiet, because if they speak, they'll be followed.
Absolutely. They have been silencing our voices when we demand the infrastructural development, when we demand the bursaries, when we demand, the good health care systems, when we demand about the employment within the, the county levels. But right now, their voices are infringed, their voices are oppressed. So everything that this political class have been doing to common mwananchi have established a book, and they have written a book within the shortest time possible. Between June 2024 to right now, we are in almost June 2024. So I think these citizens came together and then said, you know what? We have been reading their script. Let us write our own script so that they can be able to read. And
they played.
And now they have started playing the script.
All right. Of course, as you speak about the scripting, we have the state's play, which is a sense of emergency. Everyone is complaining about it and everyone is talking about it. Let's now shift gears to the elections coming 2027. We begin with this. Matiang'i's emphasis towards political space and the presidential space coming 2027. Do you think he's in a greater position to get this spot?
I think before I directly respond to that, Moses, I really want to reiterate on the statement I once made here that, these are the same monkeys flying in different forests. And when I say that the same monkeys, it literally means these are the same politicians in different seasons. Look at that lineup of Matiang'i. We have Matiang'i. Matiang'i has been in government, serving under Uhuru regimes. Matiang'i has all his own demerits, especially during the River Yala assassinations. We also have the court cases, live court cases during Baby Pendo. Matiang'i was in reign, and then by then he was, I think, the Minister of Foreign, for the Interior, right? Those are some of the few demerits, and I believe also we have the live cases in the court. Looking at the Kioni has been in Jubilee. He's a politician. Looking at Kalonzo Musyoka has been a seasoned politician. Looking at now the king of the Wamunyoro called my friend Gachagua. Gachagua has been the deputy president, and I said Gachagua is right now being driven by anger because of the abrupt impeachment by the former boss, who is the current president. When you look at the Uhuru Kenyatta, he was in the government, and he's now the one who is behind the curtain, giving the pressing the green buttons and giving direction. So this lineup, the whole of this lineup, Wakina Martha Karua, these are the politicians that we have known. But again, Moses, it comes a time where when a country takes a paradigm shift, we look at the degree of the incense in somebody, and then we convert him. So you cannot compare Matiang'i's leadership and Ruto's leadership. Matiang'i has some kind of integrity, dignity, and he's a reputative person who really wishes good for this country. And so it means that if these people align themselves very well and they employ a good strategy, Matiang'i is likely to give Ruto a hard run for Ruto's money. And then again, what will be the impact about now the Matiang'i's realignment versus Ruto? The impact could be now. The government will stop concentrating on serving the Kenyans, on serving the country, because that realignment is also a threat on its own. It has its own magnitude of threats. So we are going to continue suffering as Kenyans for the next 1 year, simply because Ruto needs again to go back on the drawing board and re-strategize. And the only way I think Ruto will beat this realignment is to employ a lot of resources. And that when he brings a resource in terms of the strategy, then it means the imposition of the taxes is going to be high. The budget is going to be read very soon. So in a manner, the supplementary budget is going to include in some extra imposition of the tax, and the Kenyans will suffer. So the political factor greatly impacts our lives and directly, breaks down our vision as youths, our vision as Kenyans, our mission, our business, and everything. So we are likely, that's just the basic underlining factors that we are going to face.
All right. You wrote something about they say numbers never lie. Additionally, those rallying behind Daktari Alfred Matiang'i for presidency will not just come out in mammoths and large numbers, but will substantiate their support with ultimate loyalty while being guided by the history. It is yet to go down. Leadership logic versus political experience.
Absolutely. The reason why I wrote that, it was following Matiang'i's, address in, Gusii Stadium. It was his first appearance, and then what came out really brought out a different picture. Remember Kisii and the Kisii and we have the other county. It is Kisii and Nyamira. Those have been Baba's, semi-bedrooms. But right now, probably Kenyans expected that when the Matiang'i appears, the people will not, accompany him. The people will not go with him to listen to him, because probably they expected they will anticipate a prowess that we need Baba here. But right now, the political scene is really changing the direction, because now Baba, as I told you during the other interview, Baba is losing his political sweetness. Just because he joined the government. So, these people who are Kenyans right now, they have no option. They only need one single option to vote against Ruto. And whoever will come, who will stand against Ruto, they will be able to do what? To vote him massively. And so now, talking about honesty and loyalty, in Amanisha, Kenyans will really trust Matiang'i because they have had, the past interactions, the past leadership views with Matiang'i. They have known Matiang'i to be a no-nonsense person, an executor, and somebody who really is a go-getter. When he wants something, he has to get it. So Kenyans really trust that the only option that is available is Matiang'i. And therefore, they will follow up Matiang'i in all dimensions, just to listen to him, support him, because they're against Ruto.
All right. So even as you speak about trust and going and coming, he went for a couple of months to. Was he strategizing as well to just come back with a total impact for an elevation towards his political taste?
Absolutely, that one, I echo that 100%, because Matiang'i went out of limelight in this country, and then it was said that he got some job outside the country. But remember, as I told you sometimes back, Moses, this country Kenya is a darling to so many foreign external countries. Kenya has good resources. Kenya has good ambience, serenities. Kenya has good epic places, and so then Matiang'i is likely to have been assured by some of the countries which are interested in this country that they are going to support him. And Matiang'i coming with all that oomph and the courage, boldness, flamboyancy, that means that he has been assured 100% that the support that he's going to receive in terms of the finances, in terms of the external pressures and everything is aligned.
But does he have the votes?
What are the votes? What are the votes currently in this country? The votes are the people who are against Ruto. So those are the votes. So don't worry about where Matiang'i will get the votes. The votes, Kenyans are against Ruto. So those are the votes for Matiang'i. Yeah.
What if President William Ruto does the thing again and wins the trust of majority of Kenyans, and so as to expect so much votes coming 2027?
I think William Ruto missed during his last campaign. He missed. He used all the strategies. You know, he touched on Mama Mboga. That is heart won. He touched on Boda Boda. That is heart won. He talked about the bottom up. That's heart won. He could have been very mean in terms of the strategies and manifestos. He could have come first of all with Mama Mboga and youths probably. But now he unleashed everything. And now, right now, Mama Mboga doesn't want to hear anything about Ruto. And the fraternity of Mama Mboga ni kubwa. And now their approach is ulituambia hadi utatuletea machine ya kukata mboga. It is right now 3 years down the line, almost 4 years. Hiyo machine haijapatikana. So for Mama Mboga votes X. If he got votes 2 million from Mama Mboga, he's likely to get only 300,000. Coming to the youths, you saw what happened in June 2024. Youths totally have lost trust in him. You get? So that strategy is dimmed. Talking about bottom-up economy. Bottom-up economy, it was like he pumps money at the baseline of the population for those people who are vulnerable, for those people who are middle class, so that now these people can use this money equally to invest in small businesses and do everything, and then the money will be able to hugely circulate in the economy. But instead of doing that, His Excellency Ruto decided again to do miscalculated borrowing. He did wrong he applied wrong expense mechanisms, and now it affected the government expenditure, hence imposing taxation to the same people he promised he will pump resources to them. So that one has totally also absolutely violated with his own strategy, and it's done. So I think the only strategy Honorable Ruto is remaining with is theft. That is rigging election. And remember, right now the eyes are on the ball. The population is, even the IBC, the IBC commission that has been established recently, it still has a question mark. And that is why these oppositions are ganging together, because they really understand who Ruto is. And I can tell you for the fact, Raila and Ruto will share 50-50% in that commission for the IBC.
All right. So speaking about President William Ruto's involvement towards this political space in the country, there is also concern on the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua making some friendship with Dr. Matiang'i. What will be your perception on the same?
I think these people have sat down and realized that to beat Ruto, a solidified opposition unit has to be, to be established. And talking about Central, initially Gachagua was very clever. He wanted to solidify Central by the help of Uhuru Kenyatta. And he has already made peace with the former President Uhuru Kenyatta. And then now the Central people are always, they are always to punish. They're always out to punish. Historically, these people comes out to vote to punish, not just to vote for a leader. And right now, I think how things have happened with the ouster of Gachagua following Muturi, and also with the ouster of Ndindi Nyoro from the Budget and Appropriation Committee chair, those are the the consolidated facts that the Central people will use to gang against, to punish Ruto. So Gachagua's approach to Matiang'i as a friendship, it means that if he will come with the huge population, and then he will have a good bargaining power should Matiang'i make it to that government again to be reinstated in the government. So Gachagua alone realized that he cannot come and punch Ruto off. So he needed friends from different divide. Look right now, Kalonzo Musyoka with over 1.2 million votes is on board, right? Gachagua with Central is always around 4 million votes, right? Is on board. Look at Western. Right now, Mudavadi has lost the sense of political touch on the ground. And then these upcoming, strong politicians, firebrands like Kilo Malala and Natembeya, they're also supporting Matiang'i. So we are likely to see the dilution of William Ruto's votes across all. Ruto has only, and also in Rift Valley, people have really also have an uproar and outcries about, his intentions, his involvement. So the voting bloc is really divided to the core, and Ruto has no monopoly to win in more than 2 regions of this country.
All right, thank you so much, Vera and Festus, for those lovely comments on our first half. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, tukirejea kwa sehemu ya pili ama awamu ya pili, tuweze na kugandia swala la Rigathi Gachagua aliyekuwa naibu wa rais hapa nchini Kenya, na vile vile pia kuweza kupata msimamo halisi wa nafasi yake pindi tutakapoweza kuzungumzia masuala ya uchaguzi mkuu wa mwaka 2027. So, very when we come back, of course, we'll delve on what does former President Gachagua's meeting with opposition leaders at his private residence signal politically. Now, how might this affect the unity or fault lines within the ruling coalition and the opposition blocs? Of course, even as we delve on, do we have the opposition right here as we speak? And if we have this opposition, what's the weight in it, and what's the balance in it as well to understand the political space in the country? All right, so mpenzi mtazamaji, usiende mbali, hii ni Bunge la Wenyeji. Karibu tena, asante sana kuganda nasi hapa jijini Nairobi na mitabendi halisi ya Bunge la Wenyeji. Mpenzi mtazamaji, kwa mara yako ya kwanza, tunaendelea kuzungumzia masuala ambayo yanakuhusu wewe mwenyeji. Na leo hii tumeonelea ni vyema kuzungumzia masuala ambayo yamekuwa kichipuka kuanzia siku ya Jumapili, ambapo mambo yalishamiri kwenye viungo vya serikali, hasa kwenye masuala ya rais. Na vile vile tukiangazia mambo kama haya, kuna taswira ya mwaka 2027 ambayo inaibuka sasa, na vile vile kumekuwa na siasa ndani yake, na kumekuwa pia na wengi ambao wamesema hili wakasema kile, angalau mambo kadhaa yapate kuweza kusemeka kuhusiana na mambo kama hayo. Lakini kabla hatujajitosa zaidi na zaidi, tumejumuika na mwenyeji mmoja apate kujitambulisha, then we move on in the same taste.
Oh, asante. Thank you. Let me say I'm grateful for welcoming me into your station or this place. I'm so happy. Because I'm mmoja wa wenyeji wa huku, na huwa kama tunaweza pata nafasi kama haya kujieleza ama kuongea, tunashukuru sana.
Kabisa.
Before niendelee mingi, kwa majina ni Jared Obonyo. Mimi ni mkaaji wa Gatina Ward. Dagoretti North as a constituency. Generally, I think most of us, we are known as watu wa Kawangware. So niko home na tunashukuru kwa mwaliko wenu.
Kabisa. Na vile vile kabla haujaingia kwa hewani, tulikuwa tunazungumza na Vera na hapa kuhusiana na picha kamili ya siasa za nchi ya Kenya. Wewe unahisi mambo ama taswira ya siasa za Kenya zipo namna gani?
Ndugu yangu, siasa ya Kenya kwa wakati huu, umekuwa ukistudy vizuri kuanzia huko nyuma, Kenyan politics is very funny. Unaweza fika wakati uione venye inakuja, ufikirie unaweza describe na useme sasa iko hivi, lakini inageuka within no minute, tena ina change. Now, kwa saizi mimi chenye naweza sema, singeongea sana kulingana na zile forces tunaona venye inakuja. Lakini kwa ile uchunguzi ama venye mimi naiona, ni kwamba siasa ya Kenya ikifika next year kitu mwezi wa 6, tutakuwa na mengi ya kusema kuyahusu. Because sahi bado watu wanachukua strategical point. Mtu anatafuta ni umbrella gani inaweza nifunika vizuri kwa wakati huu. So unapata party, watu wako like tufuate party, tufuate leadership, tuende kwa nani, kuna machanganyiko mengi sana kwa saizi.
All right, speaking about the umbrella thing, of course, after former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua got out of office and kaanza sasa kupiga mbiu yake vizuri na kuweza kusema kwa sababu ya kutetea wananchi. What will be your take on the position politically that former Deputy President holds?
Now, if I study what Honorable Rigathi is doing for now, just as I've said, anajaribu kutafuta ni wave gani itatingiza the current leadership. Now that it's like a payback kind of. Now, for now, he's trying to look which force can I use to tremble the current leadership. So that's unaona anajiita mkutano, anaona wacha njitokeze with the current. Of course, we know what happened even in the meeting that was there. yesterday with the Honorable Matiang'i, you'll realize that
that's still hanging on the fence. They will either remain to be in Kenya Kwanza solidly, or probably, according to how my brother has said, how the wave will determine the current political scenes, they are likely now to cross over the fence and then, retain their loyalty to their former boss. So that is something that we're gonna not have a wide discussion about that, because it's a political strategy per se. And then now coming to the impact that it's going to have probably to Gachagwa's alignments and everything. It's just one and the same thing. They're still watching. If their boss behaves very well strategically in politics, massively they will follow him up. And then now, talking about the historical impact of the Wamunyoro residents, I think this has come to the limelight. It might be having a history that most of us don't understand, but literally it has come to the limelight when the DP president, the former DP came into pure limelight. That is when he started initiating, making, branding that space to be a political space. But literally, according to the history, it has not appeared anywhere to, to have that significant impact. Yeah. But again, right now, we cannot ignore the current status, because when you are developing a brand, I'm a business person and I also have a brand. When you are developing a brand, you have to coat it with some sweet words. You have to align it with activities. So I might rate Gachagua to be a pro in brand development and enhancement, because he has branded that space to be a political space. And then you have seen different meetings trending there. They have been having a significant impact. And right now, even if you ask a youth, do you know about Wamunyoro? He will not even blink an eye. He will literally say that is Gachagwa's political space where he arranges his activities and everything. So it is also likely to have a very big significance in coming election for 2027. Because you can't tell me that right now, all the opposition leaders who are ganged up together, they regularly visit there. We have had church members visiting that place. We have had youths, we have had opposition youths also visiting that place. So that place, it has been painted, repainted, and again, it's projecting a very big eye to attract so many people. And then, in case you just hear that you have a meeting at Wamunyoro, it's a political strategy and plans that are going to be planned there. So it's a significant sign right now.
All right, ahead of the 2027 general elections, what will be your perception towards his alignment, his creation, his strategy? Are there hopes for tomorrow?
With Wamunyoro,
Indeed.
Sincerely speaking, there is no hope. He's just lying to himself. Because Kenyans, we are also not fools. Indeed. We've seen, or we saw what happened, what made him now be sent home. We have them, and we are seeing, and we are the voters. So the things of Wamunyoro, the umbrellas, whatever the things they are trying to create, these are a person who normally says, they are the very, very people. They are the very, very leaders. So 2027, me, what I think, it's either we get a new blood, a new fresh blood. Not the same leaders that have been joking with us, that have been playing cards with Kenyans. That is not a solution. Indeed. And currently, Kenyans want a solution.
Indeed.
They don't want to play cards, baby criers at I was sent from the government. Those things, it's long gone. Indeed. We want new things. We want leadership.
All right.
So the things that Wamunyoro is trying to create, to me, those are movies, which we will watch and do away with them. And we will another movie, because we are used to them. Indeed. Yeah, so I don't see anything is going to do in 2027.
Okay. But I think yes, literally, I need to contradict my brother there a bit, because in politics, it's all about the gimmicks. It's all about transforming the voters to act like demagogues. Coming up with irrational utterances to transform the rational mind to abide by those gimmicks and utterances. So I want just to also just bring my brother into a political limelight. Politics, when you say that Gachagua is creating movies, it is through those movies that Kenyans get paid with. You get? And then also the fact that the time variance between now and the election, which is just the elections, the campaigns are yet to start probably next year. That is around, it should be around August, the official campaign periods. So that period is very timid, and it might give actually the Wamunyoro squad, let me call them Wamunyoro squad, it might give them a good stride if they become persistent and everything. Because if we reflect a bit on how the current president, pierced through all those raging contradictions and everything, he started just like, hustler. Narrative, and it's still true, hustler narrative, and it didn't come to play. So I want my brother to categorically tell us if he really understands politics. Why is it contradicting, Gachagwa's strategy? The same Ruto that illuminated fire in a church, killing massive population of the people. We forgot, and what happened? You still voted for him. Personally, I did not, but he's still. Did
you?
Right now, this is a Baba component. But for instance, this is a Baba component, by the way. And this guy, wherever Baba goes, he will go. So he's trying to literally contradict current opposition because Baba is in government, which is very bad.
Okay, do you have contrary opinion to the same?
Talk. Can I allow him to finish? All
right, proceed.
Thank you. Now, what he's saying is right. What Veran is saying is very right. He started by saying the Kenyan politics. When I brought in the issue of movie, I also knew what I was saying. I did. Because you can lie to people most of the time, but not all the time. Now, he has said, Baba's, which is true. We are born, like when Baba tells us to go right, we do. That is the mentality we have.
Indeed, of course.
But I can tell you today, I cannot follow Baba blindly. Things do change. Baba cannot tell me, vote Ruto. If I don't and I do, I can't.
Indeed.
Uko nyuma, I used to.
Indeed.
I used to, akiniambia Jared, do away with your wife, I will.
Amazing.
I don't know, it's a mentality you are given.
A rotten mentality.
Yes. But now, things have changed. We didn't have Gen Zs.
Indeed.
They are here now. So, as time comes, or as time goes, things are changing. We are learning your tricks.
Indeed.
We are learning how tricky you are. So I know politics, like now the community where I am, they will say, huyu atakuja na unga and blah blah, and they will vote him. We are coming to understand it's not about unga, it's about after unga, what are you bringing on board? Are you getting the difference? So me being the slogan and the whatever of Baba, as we speak, I cannot follow Baba, more so in the election of president.
What really changed?
What changed is because I've been fooled for long. Yes.
I love that, Moses. You see, that's a reflection that I told you right now.
Okay.
Baba is losing the sweetness in political legacy and political trails and everything. And this is my brother, by the way. We have done politics in Dagoretti North. And we have really contradicted each other, but positively we are here. I thank God. He has Adam here and he's here. So the reason why I told you that Matiang'i is likely to give Ruto a very road shock of a run is because of such utterances that we're hearing here. These are testimonies. Somebody coming, I have been Baba's flock. He could even tell me to, to divorce my wife, and I could not even have an eye blink. But right now I cannot follow him blindly. So how many people literally are saying about that? How many youths have had a paradigm shift to think otherwise? That is the script I was telling you. We have written a new script, and right now, we have come together as a community, as a family, as friends. Even if you sit together and take tea, Baba's narrative, this guy will tell me, let's not talk about Baba. Let's talk about the country solution. And that is why I told you, when Matiang'i comes with a very bright slogan that it resonates with us, solution-oriented kind of the slogans, who are we?
All right, so even as you speak about that, do you think that we have someone that we can really elect towards that particular position? If not the current President William Ruto, who is the better person to hold these? And of course, when we measured it on the perception on the opposition as we speak, do we have a concrete opposition?
Right now, I think, let me go first before my brother maybe shed some light on that. Right now, I think I might say, because I told you, these are the same monkeys on different seasons, different forests. But again, we cannot underrate them because within even a vice, there is a handful of a virtue. Yes. So these people will just measure the degree of their vices and then rate the degree and the magnitude of their virtues. As I told you, Matiang'i has live cases in the court. Matiang'i has had also the demerits. But again, we cannot treat Matiang'i off because he's more of logic than just being a politician. When you hear him speak, and also the previous legacy he left here by having different transformations in different ministry, we are likely to say he's 60% an assured leader for us as youths, because he's an executor, he's an administrator, he's somebody who is, how can I call this? He's somebody who is principled to a great extent. So all those things that he was doing when he was the minister, it was out of the political influence because of the alignment. But right now he's going to have a mantle, a sole mantle as the president of this country. So he'll have to need to think otherwise and bide himself with good principles to lead this country. So I think Matiang'i still, at the moment, I can rate him as the best bait out of all that alignments. Cannot go for Martha Karua, cannot go for Kalonzo. Kalonzo is a baby what? I don't know how to describe that guy. He's just weak, literally. Martha Karua is an iron lady, but again, his stance gets limited because of, he finds that, you know, when there is a huge block ahead of her, he always thinks otherwise and gets under the bed. And yeah, looking at Gachagua, the constitution right now, according to how he was impeached, bans him from vying for president unless the court cases are extracted. So in that lineup, I think Matiang'i still holds the flag high. Okay,
so about the opposition, you want to say something? Of course, as you say that, what's your take on the opposition, on the current state of opposition, and really aligning the government towards elevating a greater tomorrow? And even as you speak about that, there's a question that came to mind about the issue on Kalonzo Musyoka and Musalia Mudavadi. So what really, where are they? Where is their spot? They've been behind the limelight for quite some time. Of course, there's the monkeys that he had mentioned earlier on. So are they having this particular spot?
Now, let me say something based on what my brother said. And I would want, if possible, you can do a writing somewhere so that after election of 2027, you call me. Okay. And ensure I sit where I'm sitting today. I'm sorry to say that because of in line with the question you asked, that who is fit to unseat the current president, as per now, nobody can unseat the current president. Based on the strategy that I'm seeing, nobody. That one I can tell you. And I will remind, I will say this again and again anytime I come here. Based on how the current president became the president in 2022, the strategy and the force he had from nowhere and grabbed this thing from the people who had it. If you want to unseat him, you must be so strategical more than what we are seeing.
Seasons have changed.
Thank you. Now, based on again, now let me come back to now what my brother said about Matiang'i. Matiang'i, I saw his reign, how he would lead when he was a leader. He's a good person. He's a person who is, he means what he wants to be done. He's a leader. And I'm so happy because I would compare Matiang'i, I say again, with even Maraga. Me, I would bet on Maraga, not even Matiang'i. But with so many reasons, I don't know why, it's now boiling to be on Matiang'i than Maraga. But I would bet on Maraga. Bad thing, Maraga is not a politician, he's a leader. And everybody is aware, you all can see. Now, Matiang'i is a good person, but I think not 2027. He is a good leader, he's able, he can, but not 2027. The reason why I'm saying, we know, and we know very well, the perspective in Kenya. Right now, I saw him in Wamunyoro, and we've known our brothers from Mountain. Before they say, yes, we do, the question they ask you, what are you bringing on board? So what is he bringing on board based on the votes? Okay,
we are about to end this particular conversation in regards to Bunge la Wenyeji. You mentioned something, there is no one that can unseat the current president. And if you see the position that Raila Amolo Odinga holds now, will he be able to persuade someone to get on board?
Thank you. Let me touch briefly on the issue of Raila. I mean, I started by saying there are videos. What Raila is doing in the current government, those are videos. Because I'm telling you, before next year ends, we will see another movie. Indeed. You will not even see Raila in the government. We've known him. He is my dad. I've followed him for long. Right now, if you touch Ruto, you're touching Raila.
So the movie is coming to a final.
Before next year ends, we are going to see a different thing from Raila.
Okay.
Right now, if you get the script, what Orengo is saying, and what Oburu is saying, and the rest, there is something, and they did just talk. Orengo sometimes they even eat with Raila. So there's something you see that is hidden that we don't know, and we will know it before next year ends.
Oburu said that Orengo kama ataki atoke tu ODM.
Those are movies, bro. Those are movies. So what Orengo is saying,
it's a very perfect
that
script.
Is streamlined even from Raila.
All right. As we give our last sentiments as well, but of course you've seen the situation right in the country, both politically and across the divide. So what will be our last issue of concern towards the government and towards elevating a greater tomorrow?
I think my parting shots over here is all these problems that this country is facing is not even politically instigated or castigated.
Okay.
It all boils to poor or rather misappropriation of the funds, misappropriation of the the budget and everything. So I think Kenyans need to be civilized enough. We need, first of all, I always say this to my fellow youths, before you go somewhere and then say probably Ruto cannot become the second-term president, Maraga is not able and everything. First of all, understand what are the bases of this, what are the baseline problems of this country. And I realized of late, like, we need to read the Constitution and understand, especially the Constitution Article 220. It first of all teaches us on how the expenses are done, the revenues, and then the budget. So that is the big area that carries the problems of this country. Because if the government can be able to do good budgeting, to do good revenue allocations, to do good expenses and everything, we'll be able to utilize the resources we have effectively and squarely. And most of the youths will not even struggle, most of the youths will not indulge themselves into politics and everything. We'll squarely base ourselves to starting up the small businesses and running them. So the government should be able to support us literally on how it allocates the funds and everything. Other things are just things falling within the bracket.
Safi, I believe Kiongozi, you had very few minutes to elaborate the entire vision you had, but allow me now to give you just a chance to give us a parting shot, and of course we'll create more time for further engagements.
Thank you. I won't talk much as I finish or wind up.
All right.
Number one, as my brother said, and mostly I would talk about youth, because I'm in that bracket. We need to know ourselves. That is, to me, that's what I think it's hindering us from getting what we want. We need to know the power we have.
Of course.
That we have, even the leadership, we can change it. That power, after knowing the power we have, the leaders we are having can never play with us. So I only ask youth that let us identify and know the power we have as youths. After that, then the government, they're now going to realize we are not them that they can joke or play with all the time. As I finish up, I want to condemn what happened yesterday. Throwing the shoe at the president, that is not called for. It's too bad. And we should refrain from such things. Mutu akiwa in leadership, let's give him time. After you realize he's not doing it right, then fine, go do it the other way. Put another one using votes. You don't do such a thing. It paints a bad picture even to the country. Yeah, we will be called heroes wherever, but again, the ile shima ya country is not there. So let's refrain from that as young people. I know we are being sent to do that. It's wrong. The best thing to do that will make us clap for you is identify whom you are. Then after identifying, be more wise so that the government or the leaders will not joke with you. Because you are powerful as a youth.
Thank you so much. You mentioned about the script, you mentioned about the movie, you mentioned about control, and you mentioned about the power, which are very intense towards this particular conversation. I believe, thank you so much for your lovely time. We'll create more time for further engagements on BUNGE LA WENYENJI, and of course on our morning show that is on the Morning Drift. Asanteni sana.
Thank you.
So mpenzi mtazamaji, tumeliangazia kwa jinsi tuwezavyo. Kumbuka ni majira tu ambayo tutapatana tena tukiangazia masuala na kufaa wewe mwenyeji. Leo tumeangazia makuu kuhusiana na taswira halisi hapa nchini Kenya kwenye serikali na kwenye viungo misingi vya wenyeji. Halikadhalika pia likiwa linakufaa, basi kumbuka unaweza kujumuika nasi kwenye mitandao ya kijamii hasa Facebook na YouTube. Tupatane pale tukiganda tu na masuala kama haya. Pia vyombo vyetu vya dijitali vinapeperusha taarifa hizi, make sure unazilike na una comment na una share as well, ndipo tuweze kupata mfumo halisi wa mazungumzo kama haya. Jina langu ni Mosa Sokech, tupatane awamu nyingine, na hii ni Bunge la Wenyeji.